Hi, I'm Doug.
And I'm Cathy.
And this is Maggie Mae. Join us as we follow the moon. Today, we're going to take you on a nice drive from Apache Junction, Arizona, out the Apache Trail, and over to Tortilla Flat, which is an old stagecoach stop.
It really is awesome.
So come along with us and enjoy the ride.
Thanks.
Now we start off at Apache Junction, and we were staying at Mesa at the time, so this is only about 15 minutes away where we're getting started. And we are going to make our first stop on the Apache Trail at the Superstition Mountain Museum. This place has got so much cool stuff, and it lets you see how broad the history of this area is too.
It was really neat walking around it. There were so many things to see.
And we went through all the outdoors part. We couldn't take Maggie into the indoor museum. The outdoor part of it was free of charge. And they've got some of the old mining equipment in the area. There's a picture of what the area used to look like looking over at the Superstition Mountains.
There's a great place at the back where you can just see the mountain beautifully with nothing hindering and get some great pictures from there.
And we'll show you some of those views here in just a moment. This is actually going over by one of the mine shafts. And all kinds of mining equipment set up there. And in fact, some of the equipment they do periodically run on the weekends. Here at the back of it is where we've got these beautiful shots of the mountains. The little cholla cactus. And the saguaros. The saguaros are just beautiful out here.
There are some homes out in here too.
Yes. Those were some of the older homes. Those are actually recreations of what the native peoples in that area used to live in, what they built. Now there have been, I believe there was 5 different plane crashes into the side of the Superstition Mountain, and the closest airport's about 10 miles away. This is a memorial they have set up there, and it's actually pieces of some of the plane wreckage that was brought down from the mountain. One of them involved a father, 3 children, and a business partner of his that was actually piloting the plane. Now, you know me and trains, and this is a really neat model train area.
You don't often see them set up outside, and this was really neat.
Really done well, and it is open and running again on the weekends. We were there during the week. Cathy got some nice closer up photographs. And on the weekend when it's running, you can get right in there and be in there a little bit closer than what you can during the week. But really, really well done.
Yeah, we kind of like our model trains.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out the other day a way to put up a model train track around the top of the slide outs in the motorhome. A lot of the buildings that they used in this were recreations of buildings in the area. Some of them along the side there were all from Route 66.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Apache Land was a historic area where they did lots of movies, the old Western movies.
Yeah.
And you'll see these pictures over on the side there beside the neon for the Grand Hotel. Those are just a few of the stars. Elvis Presley did movies there. A lot of the big name Western actors.
John Wayne.
Yeah. And but Apache Land burnt to the ground except for 2 buildings, and then was rebuilt, and a few years later burnt to the ground a second time except for the same 2 original buildings. one of which was that barn that we're actually in right now. And the other one is called Elvis's Chapel, and we'll show you that one in just a moment. But they've got cameras, they've got a lot of things there from memorabilia from the original studio. Now this is a Apache Junction little area of storefronts. There's a jail on the side of it. This was the Wells Fargo Stage Depot.
They didn't look too busy.
No, they didn't look too excited either. Now that barn back there was from Apache land, and so is this. This is what they call Elvis's Chapel. This was used in the movie that he filmed at Apache land, and this is one of the 2 original buildings that have been moved to this site. And it is all open. It does have some pictures and memorabilia of from being at the movie set. And as you look around there, you'll see Pastor Elvis up there. I wonder if you drop money in the offering plate if he says, "Thank you. Thank you very much."
I think so.
Now, just up the road from there is the Goldfield Ghost Town.
And these places are just like, you could walk from one to the other.
Yeah. You drive under the big mining tower there. That's their little train depot.
And you can take rides in it.
Absolutely.
This was really neat.
And this is another one of these. It's totally free to walk around the little town of Goldfield here. They do have other things there. The train ride. They have a mystery building where it seems like gravity's going the wrong way. They have some things like that you can do that are extra admission, but especially if you're bringing the family, this is really a great place to come walk around.
I think there were a couple of places to eat.
Yeah, there were. See the Wild West and not break the family budget that way. The Last Dig, well, that's their cemetery. Now there you can see the train out there in the distance, and it goes all the way around the town.
And it did look like they were expanding.
Mm-hmm. And again, lots of the old mining town equipment. Here's a roadrunner. Just decided he was going to come walk across.
The road.
Yep.
He's very casual.
Didn't see the coyote anywhere.
No.
But he was a good-looking roadrunner.
I love that building right there.
Now that was the brothel. And ironically, just past the brothel was the chapel.
Yes.
That's the Sunday school building over here on the right, just across the street from the chapel. But really, really neat looking Old West town. You can understand why they were shooting movies, the old westerns, out here in this area with the desert, the mountains, the beautiful scenery in the background. And speaking of beautiful scenery, literally about a mile up the road from those two things is the Lost Dutchman State Park. It's a great place to come for a nice hike. There's probably a half a dozen different trails. You can go as short as a half a mile trail or into several mile trails.
And they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm. This is the Superstition Mountains there that we're walking out towards.
Now, you notice there aren't any trees.
No. The saguaros are near the trees
Yeah.
as you get. That saguaro there is one that has died, and it lets you kind of see how those things are made inside. They are like water tubes all up and down the inside of it. If that doesn't look like those old Western movies we used to see growing up.
That's right. There's a reason they did those out in the West.
That's right. And that's all you really hear out there are the different calls of these birds and how they land on top of those cactus. I have never figured that out.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. You can spend as much time or as little time as you like out there. The trails are great. They're all very well marked. And they do give you a map there. Maggie was backpacking it that day.
Yeah, it's kind of rocky.
Yeah.
Look at that sky.
We actually were trying to go the length of the Apache Trail here, and it's really only at start to finish, I think it was 16 or 18 miles. But there's so much to stop and see along the way that we actually just did one of the shorter trails while we were there, just to see the area.
I think it kind of looks very similar from one trail to the next.
Probably
it's just
so,
different
yeah.
perspective of the mountain.
Now, Weaver's Needle, you'll see this at the Needle Vista, right off the side of the Apache Trail. And when you get into their parking area, I love that cactus. It looks like it's got a face made into it, the eye, the nose, the mouth.
Yeah.
Waiting on him to say something. But when you get to the parking area, the Vista, there's a couple little observation areas, and then there's a nice paved path. And back at the end of that path, you can see that structure, and that's Weaver's Needle back there. The path's good, easy walk, easy, slight climb, not much to it. And there was a nice shot that
Yeah.
Cathy got of Weaver's Needle.
You could see the base of it from there.
Now, as you travel on around the Apache Trail, you'll come to a couple of pull-offs. This is Apache Vista. This is just a small pull-out on a curve, but you've got beautiful shots of the mountains on one side, the canyon on another side. And just past that one is Canyon Lake Vista. And again, nice little covered areas, observation areas. And this is where you can see Canyon Lake.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And it's even more fun in person standing there watching, because you'll see a speedboat go through, then you'll see a pontoon boat go through. There's a lot of boating out there on that lake.
And that water was really beautiful. Imagine being out in that desert and you come across that.
Yeah. It does almost look out of place. I think that's
Yeah.
why it jumps out at you. So Now, as you're going down the road, this is all really nice 2-lane paved road. It is very twisty, very turny.
Take it slow.
Take it slow. If you have any motion sickness like what I do,
Pull off as often as you can.
get out, walk around. There are 2 1-lane bridges as you go across, and this is sped up a little bit. We weren't flying across there this fast, but
Yeah, he always says that.
there are 2 1-lane bridges as you go across, but they're good, substantial bridges, nothing to be concerned with, and they're both 14 foot high. Just a short ways from there is the Dolly Steamboat, and this is a boat tour of Canyon Lake. That's their steamboat. It's basically a big pontoon boat. It's not really a steamboat, but it's dressed up to look like it. And beautiful formations out there. That would be something next time through I'd like to go spend some time out on the lake with that.
We kind of can't with Maggie with us, but it was close enough. We could have left her home.
Now, down in the valley, you'll see the little town of Tortilla Flat. And Tortilla Flat, this was a stagecoach stop. The buildings are all on one side of the road.
And there's not very many of them, but it is lively.
It is. And considering that you've got this twisty, turny road coming back to it, it's always busy. Lots of motorcycles. It's a great riding destination. This is their little mercantile store. Anything and everything, including anything that's Tortilla Flat, you can find there. Now, this painting back here I thought was really neat. Digging the mine tunnel. And you never know what you're going to find when you're digging these tunnels. This guy's just about to find something I don't think he wants to.
Somebody had a sense of humor.
Sense?
Yes.
This is their post office. That literally is their post office.
Well, there's not very many people actually live there.
No. I'm sure it's big enough. Now this one, there's public restrooms there, but when you go through that door, you walk into their dining establishment, and you look at this and you see the walls are all covered in dollar bills, but then you go into the big dining hall, and all of these walls are covered.
And they're signed.
Yeah. The Tortilla Flat Saloon. And they're not just US dollars. There's currencies of the world. Those are different currencies that are on their wall. People that have come from all over the world. Restaurant, no motel. I like that. Saloon, gift shop, groceries, post office. They have the patio area, which is where we stopped and got a bite of lunch. Cathy had a real good looking burger there. That's a cup of street corn, and I had the pulled pork sundae that's layered with coleslaw.
I'd never heard of such a thing.
Out of this world. Really, really good. Highly recommend. That gives you a little bit of the backstory and the lore on the Dutchman's Inn there.
Yeah, he was quite a character.
Yeah. And that always sets the tone when you've got somebody hanging above the country store. Country store is known for their ice cream and gelato, and most famous for the prickly pear gelato. We didn't get a chance to try it, but everybody was coming out of there with it. Wyatt Earp's bathtub. And then at the very end of the town, which is literally maybe a block long.
Yeah.
They've got some mining equipment.
Stagecoach with a bird taking a ride.
The ominous buzzard sitting up there.
I was going to say, did we decide what he was?
And this was their first schoolhouse.
You gotta have a school.
It's now been turned into a museum, and it has all kinds of pictures, maps, and artifacts of Tortilla Flat through the years.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. You could spend some time just walking through that little one-room schoolhouse.
Lots of things to read about the history of Tortilla Flat in the area. Love the little school bench there.
Yeah.
The jail cell that we had to get Maggie bailed out of.
What did she do anyway? I wasn't paying any attention.
That's probably why she got picked up. And it harkens back to the mining days. And that's the edge of town. You lose the pavement from that point on, and it's 4x4 high ground clearance vehicles from that point on. Well, Cathy, it's been a big day. What did you think about our time on the Apache Trail?
I'm loving it, as usual.
It's just beautiful. There's
Yes,
no
it
doubt
is.
about it.
Yeah.
And we are staying in Mesa, like 10 minutes away, right off of the busy highway, and 10 miles later you're out in this. It's just kind of mind-blowing.
Yes, it is. It's amazing.
With that, if you've enjoyed the video today, leave us a thumbs up. We certainly appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, watch in this corner at the end of the video. If you tap that button, you can subscribe and ring the notification bell, and that way you'll know when every one of our videos come out.
And thank you for following us as we follow the moon.